I want you to be sensitive to the covenants in your Bible, and there are 4 of them that are unconditional. There are some covenants that are conditional. I'm not dealing with those. I'm dealing with 4 that are distinctive because they are unconditional. One of them is the Abrahamic covenant in Genesis chapter 12. It's unconditional. There's no way you can forfeit it. That's the Abrahamic covenant. You're familiar with that, I'm sure. There's the land covenant. Some study Bibles call it the Palestinian covenant. That's a tragic label because that's using the label of their enemies. I'm going to just call it the land covenant in Genesis 15 and 17. And there's a third covenant called the Davidic covenant. It's unconditional also in 2 Samuel 7. And then there's a fourth unconditional covenant called the everlasting covenant in Jeremiah 31:31. And that's the covenant that gives the New Testament its name. The new covenant of the New Testament is named after Jeremiah 31:31. So those are 4 covenants that are unconditional. Do you realize that 3 of those 4 are under attack specifically? Who is attacking the Abrahamic covenant? Answer, the world. The world is very anti-Semitic. They're very against Abraham. The United Nations have over 60% of their resolutions are against Israel. There's 186 or whatever the number is nations in the UN. But 60% of the resolutions of the General Assembly and about that same percentage in the Security Council are against Israel. Clearly, Israel isn't that big an issue compared to all the other issues before the world. But you need to understand how anti-Semitic the UN actually is. Well, there's a land covenant. Who is challenging the land covenant? Well, that's pretty obvious, Islam. That Israel's right, the whole idea that Israel's on their property is their mentality. They don't believe that God has uniquely given that land to Israel, as Genesis 15 and 17 underscore. Okay, there's the Davidic covenant, and this one will surprise you. Who is challenging the Davidic covenant? The church. I'm guessing the statistics, but I'd say about 9 out of 10 churches are amillennial. They don't believe in a literal Davidic covenant. And we're going to take a look at that because that's so fundamental to you and me for what's unfolding before us. Let's take a look at the empowering passages here. Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are on the earth. Fair enough. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant them that they may dwell in the place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of the wickedness afflict them any more as beforetime. And as since the time that I have commanded the judges to be over my people Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thine enemies, also the Lord telleth thee that he will make thee a house. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. That's the Davidic lineage of the Messiah. And he shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. That's a long time. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thine house and thy kingdom shall be established for quite a few years. No, forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever. Where is it today? It's not around anywhere. Interesting. You get around Christmas time, you always get Christmas cards, and you can always predict that Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 and 7 are always on. Make a great Christmas card. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Familiar stuff, right? Do you realize that a child is born and a son is given is not synonymous? A child is born as human. A son is given as divine. The child is born, that phrase occurred is distinct from a son is given. A child is born occurred in Bethlehem. The son is given occurred in Golgotha. See, I'm always suspicious when something looks like a synonym, but it ain't. When you peel that onion, you usually make a discovery. That's an example. But let's go to the next verse. Of the increase of his government peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David. Ooh, what's that? Upon his kingdom, to order it, to establish it with judgment and with justice for henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts shall perform this. Wow. Where's that throne today? My goodness.